So good evening, everybody, and welcome to the session if you're with us live, and welcome if someone has sent you this session on a recording. We are so excited, I think is the right word, to talk to you about this topic. It's really dear to both mine and Zoe's hearts, and we are going to be with you for 30 minutes to give you an introduction as to how oils can help with anxious feelings. There's lots of layers to this, and we could probably talk to you all evening. But by the very nature of the way that we live our lives when we experience anxious feelings, we're going to make it 30 minutes and then offer a follow-up. All will become clear later on. Oh, just got one more person coming in. So I'm going to attempt to only have you here for 30 minutes. Because both Zoe and I are mothers, and we have children waiting in the next room or inside to be put to bed, as I'm sure we have evenings to get on with as well. So just we're going to introduce ourselves briefly. My name is Anna. I have been working with doTERRA oils for 3 years and using them for 4 years. A friend introduced them to me for sinus situations, actually, for congestion, which had really sort of plagued my health. And once I realized how well they worked for me, I thought I would see if they could help my emotional situation. I have lived with anxious feelings and tricky emotions, as I would call it, probably all of my life. I came from a family environment where my mum lived with the same situation. So I have learned that behaviour, and that's something we're going to talk about tonight, is that you can change the way that your brain wants to remind you of things or trigger things thanks to the natural power of essential oils. So that's me, and I'm just going to hand over to Zoe to introduce herself to you.
So, hello, my name's Zoe. So I met Anna at the school fete last year. We're football mums as well, but I hadn't realised about our love of oils. So I was talking to Anna, and for me, it was anxious feelings, but work related. I've got quite a intensive job, and I've never had this experience before in my life. But also, I'm at that age as well where things start changing as we get a little bit older. And Anna helped me on my way, and then I became a wellness advocate. I think it was about February, March this year. So we're here to help people in the right direction. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you, Zoe. So a brief introduction from us. Very quickly, what is an essential oil? Some of you on the call tonight may have used essential oils for years, and some of you may be thinking, I have no idea what essential oils have to do with my emotions. So I'm going to attempt to give you a very quick background now. An essential oil is actually the immune system of a plant. So it's what keeps a plant healthy and allows a plant to protect itself from any environmental threats. So when we start to think in those terms, we can really understand as to when we put that essential oil into our body, how it works for us. Plants are a collection of cells and water, and we are a collection of cells and water, but with emotions. So the natural aromatic compounds are taken out of plants, steam distilled, and popped into the bottles that we use. So they're completely safe, they're completely natural, the doTERRA ones are, and I'll come on to that shortly, with absolutely no side effects. And that's something that we will be touching on this evening. There is absolutely no judgment here from me for anyone that is currently using medication for this kind of life situation or is contemplating it at all. This is a natural alternative if it's something that you feel that you want to try, or you're seeing some side effects from some medication that you are taking. So how can these crazy little bottles help? What on earth have plants got to do with our life, our health, our bodies? So we always come back to the lifestyle layers, as we call them in doTERRA. And this is an understanding that we have lots of layers going on in our health and wellness. And actually oils can help us at every stage of this. So the lifestyle area we're talking about is the blue area, the rest and manage stress. But underneath that, there's an understanding that nutrition and digestion is really the absolute baseline of our health. What we're putting into our body, whether it's processed, whether it's natural, whether there's chemicals or toxins in it, it's all going to start to have an effect on our emotional situation, on the inflammation in our body. Movement and metabolism. Now, whether you walk the dog, whether you swim, or whether you're weightlifting, or whether you're running marathons, as long as you're moving your body and shifting energy and shifting cells and using muscles, it's exactly what our body was designed to do. Resting and managing stress, that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. Reducing toxicity, this is a huge one, and I'm not going to touch on this tonight because there is so much to say, but very briefly, it's about reducing the inflammation in your body that's caused by putting chemicals in it. There's lots of other sessions that we do on this topic. It's a massive topic for me in terms of perimenopause and menopause situations. It's huge. Informed self-care, that's what this evening is all about. It's about finding ways to help ourselves to look after ourselves better. And then right at the top of the layers is an understanding that even if we use every single natural method under the sun, there will still be a need for proactive Western medical care at some point. And that is a complete understood in all of this approach. So just on the right, before I change the slide, I just want to draw your attention to this picture of a cell. Now, where this gets really clever with essential oils is that because every cell in our body, millions and millions and millions of them, have a fatty outer layer, a lipid outer layer, it means that essential oils can actually penetrate that outer cell barrier, and that's where it starts to get exciting. Essential oils can work for us on a cellular level because of this approach. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about emotions tonight. And yeah, I'll come on to that in a little bit more detail. Very quickly, I'm going to talk to you about why doTERRA is different. doTERRA is totally natural. Unlike any other essential oil on the market, they do not dilute with anything artificial, any fragrances, any fillers. You will not find anything more pure and more potent than doTERRA. You can actually just get a benefit from using one drop in your diffuser or in a roller bottle, where you may be using 5 or 6 of another brand. It is that potent. The whole process is completely free of pesticides. It's totally organic. And what this all adds up to is that it is more potent in our body, and it can have a real benefit on a cellular level. I really love showing this slide because it also gives you an understanding as to what doTERRA, what their commitment is. So the reason that they're so pure is because they are authentic. They are grown, the plant is grown in its natural habitat. So for anyone with really good eyesight, you'll see that lavender is grown in Bulgaria and the south of France. And the reason for that is where the plant is growing in its natural habitat. So its immune system is strongest. I grow lavender outside of my garden. We can grow lavender in a polytunnel. It won't be having the same challenges in its natural environment, so it won't be as strong. This is why doTERRA oils are pure, they are potent. doTERRA have committed to working with family farmers all over the world in 56 different countries. They have an entire team that go out and manage these relationships, and these pictures are of families that have farmed crops for generations and generations. And this is what doTERRA pride themselves on. This is why we can trust what's in the bottle. And this is why I'm happy to use them in my body and with my family as well, even with my children. So let's get into a bit of the science. I promise I'm not going to get too sciencey on you, but this is a really important slide. So essential oils can do many things for us on a cellular level. But where essential oils work the fastest is to support our emotions. So you'll see here there's a picture bottom left of a diffuser. So in there is there's some water, you turn it on, a cold mist comes out of the top, and tiny little particles of the oil fill your room. We say it's a way of invisibly managing the mood in a room. I love doing it in the morning with my kids and my grumpy husband. On the right, you'll see someone inhaling directly from the bottle. The same thing is happening. You can also rub it in our palms, inhale. For those of you that have had samples from us, that will be the way that we've recommended that you use them at first, because you're getting tiny little particles going up your nose, as the picture on the right shows. They're traveling through all the olfactory canals, activating the neurons, going into the olfactory bulb, and then ending up in the limbic system in the brain. Now, this is the part of the brain, for those of you familiar with the term neuroplasticity. It means that we don't have to live with the emotions that we feel. Emotions are temporary, and we have the ability to change the way that our thought processes work due to neuroplasticity. So the tiny little molecules of essential oil go into that part of our brain that stores memories, experiences, and where our thought patterns happen. So you may be experiencing downward spirals. I used to talk about negative spirals. One thought leads to one thought leads to one thought, or triggers. It's all happening in your limbic system, completely unknown and completely unwanted. When you inhale an essential oil, it takes 20 seconds for the smallest molecule of that oil to start working with this part of your brain. That is why they're potent. That is why they're powerful. And that's why I rely on them for my really tricky emotions. I have done today. I have done this evening. I do it every day. So we're going to talk to you about a few different oils tonight. You will have had some of these in your sample packs, or you'll be waiting to get them after this session. These two are absolute non-negotiables. If anyone ever comes to me and says, do you have an oil that can help with tricky emotions, anxious feelings? These are the two that I start with, because this is exactly what they're designed for. The blend on the left is called Adaptive. It was created just before lockdown, incredibly. It was a blend that was put together. They always look at the emotional benefits of oils, put them together, and then basically do aromatic testing, and they always tweak them. They didn't with this oil, this blend. It was, yeah, the timing of it was incredible, and the blend is incredible. It's uplifting and it's calming, which is exactly what you want when you're struggling with anxious feelings. You don't want to be so chilled that you can't get on with anything, because anxious feelings will appear just before something's about to happen, or just before you need to do something, or while something's happening. And you want that ability to calm those emotions, but also then motivate you to carry on. So you'll see there's two different sorts of bottles. The one in the middle is neat oil that you put in the diffuser. The one on the left is a rollable, so it's diluted and you can apply that directly to your skin. Using oils in these two ways are the most powerful way. The aromatic use will get up to your brain quickly, and then topical will go through your skin layers into your bloodstream and just start circulating around your body, helping with the physical symptoms of anxious situations. The blend on the right is the balance blend. It's the grounding blend. It's awesome for overwhelm, for stress, for frazzled minds. I joke that this should be handed out in the maternity ward, because it really should. This blend actually got me through labour. This blend is in my everyday. It's incredible. Some people will start their day with this. Again, it comes in a pre-diluted roller or neat. It's like walking through a forest. It's lots of different tree oils and frankincense, which is the resin that you'll see at the bottom, which is going to feature in another part of this session. But these are two absolute non-negotiables where you want to be looking at. Zoe, I know these are some of your favourites as well.
Yeah, so the Adaptive I use daily. I've got it on a rollable, and I roll it on my my wrist and across my heart space. I've also got a bracelet that I wear that's got like carrier beads on, so then the oil like absorbs into that, so I can smell it throughout the day. Because I wear it daily, I'm then building up the layers of how it works, and your body gets used to that sort of like aroma that you get. For the balance, I use that in the evening. So I use that alongside lavender. It then calms me down, ready for bedtime. They're both beautiful blends. They smell completely different. So for me, I need the uplift for the day, and then the balance calms me down in the evening. They're just wonderful.
They are awesome blends, and we'll talk a bit about this. You can get single oils, but doTERRA have created these blends to have a particular emotional response in the body, which they do. So Adaptive, the calming blend, inhaling from palms or having from a diffuser in a room, a rollable across pulse points, back of the neck, and as Zoe said, across the heart is a really lovely place. Some people also use it across their tummy. So in a rollable, it's good to use it on your body where you're feeling a symptom. Having it in a diffuser is generally helping your emotions and managing the mood of a room. This blend I have seen work in an extreme emotional urgent situation. So the lady was really struggling, her body was shaking, she was having trouble breathing, and I had this oil on me and we used it, and it was 20 seconds. I watched the shakes change, I watched her shoulders come down, I watched her be able to breathe. It's astonishing. So it can be used in those panic situations, and it can be also used throughout the day. It's in my car. I use it before the school run. I used it before the session this evening. When you feel under stress, if you feel these feelings starting to rise, this is a wonderful blend to use. And as Zoe said, it will build up through the day. What oils will not do for you is mask, prevent, stop, cure. They are not a medication. You can't use them once and expect them to work. They will work with your body. They will support your cells. They will help your body to work in the way that it's designed. And because of that, we can use it throughout the day. We're not limited to how much we can have the diffuser on. We're not limited to how many times we can roll it and inhale it. It's working with our body, and it's such an empowering way to support our emotions. So balance, as I said, supports frazzled minds. So many people use it during the morning and evening to kind of bookend their day. It's beautiful to add into the bath at night. I first started using this in the evening in a diffuser with lavender, but now I actually like it during the day with wild orange. We'll talk about wild orange very shortly. It's a beautiful blend. It's tree oils, and actually it's got floral in there. So you'll see blue chamomile, blue tansy and Roman chamomile. Every time I smell it, I smell something slightly different in it. It's really very beautiful. And for the little people, so both Zoe and I have boys. They happen to both play in the same football team, and we use the two blends on the left and the middle before every football match. We use the blend on the right during school, helping him to focus. You'll start to understand as we move through the slides that oils can help not only in the situation that presents itself, but also the layers that are underneath. So there's always, we talk about a trigger, or there's always something else going on and something else that it leads to. These blends are very, very gentle. They're in something called the Kids Collection kit, but you can buy them individually as well. They're beautifully made. We can actually use them as adults as well. I use it with my son. We use it together. It's a really empowering way. My son is 7 and he already understands the power of using something natural to support the way his mind works. And I just think, wow, if I'd had that at 7, if I'd had that at 27, I would have been in a very different place. So these oils, we can use balanced and adaptive for children as well. We just dilute it slightly differently. We can use them in the home, we can diffuse them around them, but just these blends have been created specifically for our little people. So I mentioned just earlier, in addition to the feelings that we get when we're having an extreme situation, when we talk about a life with anxious feelings, there are always repercussions. There are always things that it affects, and then that links into something else. There's 3 main areas that we want to talk about this evening: sleep, emotional well-being, which we've touched on a little bit, and also energy. And guess what? There are oils to help with all of these areas as well. So sleep, there's a lot of oils on this slide because there are a lot of oils that can help. So one thing that I hear from a lot of people in this scenario when I'm helping them is a racing mind, is having to get up and write lists, or it's just not being able to get to sleep. Your sleep is your energy foundation through the day. It's what supports your immunity. It's what supports your brain function. It's actually what allows you to manage your emotions. It's what gives you energy. If our sleep is crap, then how we are managing our day and how we are managing our own emotions is also challenging. So all of these oils, we can diffuse them in a cold mist diffuser, or we can put them in a rollable on the soles of our feet. So for sleep, I always put my sleep rollable on the soles of my feet because the pores are largest on the soles of my feet. And it's going to get into my bloodstream and circulate my body within 20 minutes. And I feel that. So I put my oils on, I start reading, and I so very rarely get past 20 minutes before I am very, very naturally in asleep. And I can tell you that I have always struggled not only falling asleep, but staying asleep. So this is my sleep blend. I use lavender, which I would say is your starter. It's what we use for children. It's what we recommend initially. Balance is the grounding blend. Again, this is going to really help with calming those sort of frazzled, busy monkey brain thoughts. Serenity is called the restful blend. I actually use this with my son because it has juniper berry in, which is very helpful for night terrors. It also comes as a capsule, which is pictured next to it. And then I've also added the restful blend. So we use this with my son. This is also part of the kids collection. It's beautiful. It's very similar to the Serenity blend in terms of smell, which is kind of sweet and spicy and really lovely. Now, frankincense is known as the king of oils, and it is the ultimate for the busy, frazzled brain. Now, I add this into my sleep blend. Lavender and balance goes into a diffuser in the evening, but frankincense really brings sleep support up to about a 7, 8 out of 10. Now, the last oil on this slide is vetiver. This is your, as far as I'm concerned, 9 or even 10 out of 10 sleep support. Vetiver is an oil that comes from a root of a tree 30 feet underground. So if we're thinking about tree oils being very supportive for our emotions because of their stability, if we're thinking about the root being underground, it's the ultimate in stability for our emotions. Vetiver is incredible. I have used it during the day recently as well, with adaptive, with balance. It is wonderful. It is those four together, lavender, balance, frankincense, and vetiver, is just incredible. Now, as I said earlier, oils aren't going to stop, mask, prevent anything. That's what you rely on a medication for. However, when you couple the use of oils alongside some other tweaks in your lifestyle, and some of the things I've mentioned on the screen, I've practiced over the last year, and it really does lead to better quality sleep. So breathing, I'm not being sarcastic, but breathing, slowing breathing. When you're lying, trying to get to sleep and you're not getting to sleep, concentrate on your breathing. Something someone once taught me, and I use this with my son. When you breathe in, you think about the top of your body rising towards the ceiling. And when you breathe out, you think about sinking back into the bed. And when you concentrate on your breathing, it does two things. It brings in a better quality of breath into your body, and it allows you to remove breath from your body, toxins, stress. Also, it gives you something else to focus on. Screens, this won't be new to you. The blue light that is in any form of screen, TV, phone, iPad, messes with the natural melatonin production in your body, which allows you to sleep and wake up feeling rested. Difficult conversations. This is one of the things that has had the biggest impact on my sleep. I don't enter into difficult conversations late at night with my husband, and I absolutely have stopped talking about finances when we're in bed. I don't know about you, but there's something about late at night. My husband, he is a finance director. It's like, bing, let's talk about that right now. I noticed that spend. We need to talk. No. And it's taken a while, but it's about boundaries. So if you notice something that triggers you in the evening, create a boundary around it and just don't allow it to give you that trigger. And let it go. Once you start noticing the things that are creating that feeling in your body, then you can start to create some boundaries around them. That's a whole bigger topic that I'm very passionate about, but I always want to make the point that you can't expect to use an oil once and it'll solve everything. That's not what natural solutions will do for you. They work alongside some other very simple tweaks in lifestyle that we can talk to you about in a follow-up session.
Can I just add to that as well? So for me, I do use the lavender balance and the frankincense, and I put it into a rollable. I also use the Serenity supplements as well. And I kid you not, I've had the best sleep in the year that I've been using these. I've got that mind where I either can't drop off to sleep or I do, and then come midnight, I'm wide awake and I will be awake all night because I can't shift what's in my head. Since using these products, I've had the best sleep. I just can't recommend them enough. They're absolutely amazing. And I know that we keep saying this, but they're on a different
True.
level.
That's
They
why
really are. Yeah.
I keep this by my bed, and I use it soles of my feet, pulse points, and I drift off to sleep. If, as happened last night, I'm going into that. Oh, I mustn't remember because we're packing for a week away. Mustn't forget that. Must do that. Must do that. Must do that. I picked this up, rolled it back over my heart space, concentrated on my breathing, and I do not remember anything else. So it's about empowering. It's about setting boundaries. It's about teaching our brain. It's neuroplasticity. It's allowing aromatic molecules to show our brain a different way of operating and working with thoughts. Mood. Now, this is the area that we think about when we talk about living with anxious feelings. So we've talked quite a bit about reducing tension in our body. We've talked about the adaptive and balance blend, which is all about reducing that tension in the body, that busy mind, that downward spiral. When we allow that to happen, we can then welcome in a more positive uplift. It's really hard to go straight from feeling stressed, feeling very full of all the negativity, to go straight to creating uplift and creating joy. It's not going to happen. So when we reduce the tension in our body, we can then choose to let in a more positive energy. And some of the oils that I've added onto this slide are incredible for that. So I talked recently on my stories on Instagram about an abundant mindset. Now, I actually live my life in this way. I've always been quite a naturally positive, optimistic person, but when you actually choose to see abundance, now what I mean by that is things that are abundant in nature. So for example, I sat down for 5 minutes before the school run today, and I just noticed that there were still a lot of leaves on the trees. And then that got my brain into thinking about how positive that was in nature. When I'm out and about, I will always notice the weather. When I'm now loading the dishwasher, I'll make sure that rather than thinking about, oh, this is another chore that I'm doing, I'll make sure that I'm thinking about what I'm grateful for. So an abundant mindset is a switch. And when you can find things to be grateful for, when you can start to notice what is abundant in your life and in the world around you, there is less room for fear, because what you're doing is you're teaching your brain to notice positive things. What we tell our brain is what we feel. Our thoughts become our feelings, and our feelings become our reality. So when we're engaging in negative self-talk, and we're beating ourselves up about something, or we're feeling guilty about something, and this is life, right? Isn't it? I'm no, positive unicorn here. Our brains take us into negative mindsets. The challenge is to catch it and then to choose. When we fill our brains with negative self-talk, our brain looks for evidence. So we tell ourselves something and our brain goes, oh, okay, yeah, let's look for some evidence that makes that true. And then we further create this neural pathway. These oils will stop that happening and then help to create a more abundant, uplifted, due to their natural chemical components. So on the left-hand side of the screen, we've got a blend called Forgive, very positive for negative self-talk, and a blend called Peace, which is very similar, really helpful. It's part of an aromatics kit, which we'll talk about shortly, keeping an eye on the time. Bergamot in the middle of the screen is the oil of self-love and self-worth. It's the signature oil in a program I run called Love You, Be You. It's so important for creating joy in our life, because it's incredible the amount of thoughts that we have in a day that are negative about ourselves, about how we're handling something, how we're managing something. And in particular, when we live with anxious feelings, that's a really big challenge. So bergamot is one of the first oils that I use to support my emotions, and I still use it every day. I had it this morning in my cacao. Cheer and Passion are again two very, very clever blends. You'll notice they look similar to the Forgive and Peace. They're actually in a kit, but you can buy them separately. Cheer is a very, very uplifting, quite citrusy, quite spicy blend, and Passion very similar. So they are helping to create a positive mood and helping to reinforce that neural pathway. The two big bottles, they're big because I think they're one of the most important for creating joy. Wild Orange is the oil of joy and abundance. And when we're talking about abundance, when we're wanting to notice the things that are positive and good that we're grateful for, Wild Orange is the ultimate. So wild orange, bergamot, and frankincense were the three that I invested in first before I knew anything about doTERRA, anything about neuroplasticity, anything about how natural solutions could help anxious feelings. And they blew me away. I still use them now. Citrus Bliss is kind of what it says on the bottle, really. It's called the invigorating blend. It's all of the citrus oils that you could imagine, plus vanilla. It's just been reformulated, actually, and it's now got green mandarin in, which is the oil of pure potential, and litsea, which is incredible oil. It's the oil of manifesting. It's a really powerful blend. You put that in a diffuser in the morning, particularly at the moment as the mornings are dark, or put it on in the evening as you're starting. It's incredible. Citrus oils will naturally lift your energy.
I use the Citrus Bliss when I'm working from home. It just smells lovely.
It's incredible. It's yeah, all the citrus oils that you could imagine. And if you think that wild orange does a good job, now imagine that times 10. Citrus Bliss is the ultimate. It's the 10 out of 10 for lifting the mood. Right, energy for life. Very conscious of time. So citrus and mint oils lift your energy, lifts your mood, but in particular lifts your energy. So I've outlined some of the minty oils. You can actually get them in beadlets, which is a quarter of an oil. Really handy to have in the car or your handbag. Just pop it in your mouth and it gives you a real burst. I love to use those when I'm driving. But particularly if you're someone that's feeling an energy slump, perhaps because you're feeling fatigued from the emotions that you're experiencing, mint and citrus oils are very, very beneficial. Melissa is the oil of light. It's incredible. It's the best oil I know for energetic support. And then Motivate is a blend, again, from the aromatics kit. Really, really lovely citrus mint. I know lots of people that use this from working from home as well. Very quickly, 2 product ranges that we can send you much more information on because it is a more considered discussion. Again, there's whole separate sessions on these. The Meta Power product range supports your metabolism. So for those of us over the age of 25, our metabolism starts to slow down, but there are ways that we can support it, that we can manage our glucose, we can manage our energy levels, we can support our collagen production, which isn't just about the wrinkles on our face. It's about our mobility, it's about our energy, it's about our focus. That is a fantastic range that we can tell you more about. And then lifelong vitality supplements. This was one of the very first products that Zoe started to use. It's a fantastic, so going back to that pyramid, it's the very bottom, it's the nutritional support. Even if we ate 100% organic produce in our diet, we still wouldn't get all of the nutrients we need due to soil depletion. But this trio of vitamins, it's all of your A to Z, all of your minerals, and then also a unique vitality complex. I have these every day. I really notice when I don't. It's a really powerful way of supporting your energy. And this, again, it's about working out how we can support the physical symptoms of the emotions and then supporting the knock-on consequences of what's happening. And if we can do those 2 things at the same time, we get a really, really powerful effect in our body. And it's incredibly empowering. And we know by putting natural things into our body, we're not leading to any toxic inflammation that's going to cause any issues later down the line and increase the likelihood of anxious feelings in our body. So next steps. If you like the sound of what you've heard and you're curious, then both Zoe and I will offer a one-to-one follow-up session with you to talk further about your experiences, how you, your symptoms, the consequences for your life of living with tricky emotions. However, if you're someone that's already had a one-to-one or you've already got an account, then you can go in and buy. But if you're ready to buy now, then there are absolutely options that we can help with as well, which I will just spend the last minute talking through. So there are kits that already exist, or we can create you a bespoke kit. Now, the beauty of kits is that they've already been created by doTERRA, they've already done the thinking. But if there are some that you're drawn to, everyone's unique and every lifestyle living with anxious feelings is totally unique. And so that's what Zoe and I are here to do, help you navigate, talk to you about what you're going through and match the best oils to help that. The mood management kit is always a really popular one. It talks about all the oils we've talked about, sleep, the 2 non-negotiables, and then Citrus Bliss. It's a fantastic collection. The emotions aromatics kit, so you've got oils that help with energy, with joy, with sleep as well in there. The kids collection is brilliant. Now, the benefit of that one is that the membership fee is included. So there's a way to buy the oils where you can get 25% off for a year. We call that a wholesale membership, costs £24, and that lasts for the year. And the beauty of the kids collection is that you get that membership fee for free in the price of the kit. And then finally, the bespoke kit is where you basically get to say, I want that one, and that one, and that's where I want to start. Zoe and I can guide you through this, but I just at this stage wanted to let you know that there are kits that are put together for you if you don't want to have to do the thinking. This class is slightly different, and the approach with helping people to start with oils can be overwhelming, and we totally understand that. We've both been there. So we want to make it as easy and as straightforward as we can. I always like to do a thank you, and Wild Orange has been such a benefit for both of us, that anyone that decides to enroll as the member and take out the wholesale membership, placing an order over 100 PV, which is kind of doTERRA dollars, we can chat you through that in our one-to-ones. You'll get a free 5ml Wild Orange from me as a thank you. And then final slide is to say that Zoe and I act as your wellness coaches. So we are here for a follow-up with you one-to-one, and to let you know that when you step into using oils for your natural wellness, it's so much more than just buying some bottles that are going to sit on the side. I can absolutely promise you that. The setup call that you'll get from both me and Zoe is all about how we reduce the faff, how we make it easy, where you keep your bottles in your home so that you remember, and ultimately, given the topic that we're discussing, how we reduce the overwhelm of starting something new and something different, because we get that. So in our community, we're hugely supported with a Facebook group, a WhatsApp community, there's an email newsletter that come out. This is all opt-in, but we want you to know that the support is there, and there are lots of people using oils in ways that may well inspire and educate you. Our ultimate goal is that we can help you to become self-sufficient using oils for anxious feelings, as we both have. So thank you very much for being with us here live, and thank you very much for listening to the recording. I think I went 4 minutes over, so I hope you will, I hope you won't mind that I did that. And yes, if you're watching this recording, please get in contact with the person that sent it to you. We would love to follow up with you.